In this episode, we're going to talk about the only type of cardio that you need to shred fat. How you can use this stuff you enjoy to your advantage.
The sun is shining, the birds are chirping, the bacon is sizzling. Welcome to the Daily Swole.
Welcome, everyone, to episode 260 of The Daily Mother Swole. When I flex, you flex. We all flex our biceps. Welcome, everyone that's watching me on the most muscular podcast in the realm. Thank you for joining me. I take great pleasure and great pride in allowing all of you on SoundCloud and iTunes to hear me grow muscle every fucking day. And of course, thank you for watching on YouTube and watching me live at 12 noon Eastern time on Facebook at Swolenormous. So those of you that are coming in for the first time, get in, get your feet wet, throw up some fucking likes, share the broadcast, let everyone that you know see that on this Saturday, on this beautiful day, on this world, and on this earth that we live in, let everyone know that on this Saturday, when you have some time off to spend with your family and friends and do whatever you want, you're taking the time out of your day to make some sick fucking gains. Honestly, you are taking the time. You are not watching TV. You're not watching a movie. You're not slacking off. You are... You're watching this bearded psychopath drop knowledge bombs all over your faces, just vomiting fitness godliness. Today is going to be a great episode. And if people don't watch this one, they're going to be disappointed and they're going to be sad because you're going to have so much more knowledge than them. This is a good one. This episode is entitled The Mistake of Steady State Cardio. This is the fitness gem. This is fitness glory right here, because we talked a lot about this week about cardio, about what you should do with cardio, what you shouldn't do with cardio, why you shouldn't do cardio, just say no to cardio. That was the episode we talked about. And let's just go into why briefly again. Let's just wrap that up in case you didn't catch that episode. Cardio means cardiovascular activity, and it's aerobic. And aerobic is a low level of caloric burn, mostly with fat. So it is something that your body can replenish very quickly, and it doesn't put you into this deficit where your body needs to burn stored fat. And the whole point, let's be honest, the whole point of what you're doing in the gym, the whole point of what you're trying to do with fitness, the whole point of what you want is to burn the fat that you have. You don't want a little bit, you want to burn a lot. You got a gut, you got flabby arms, you have fat on your thighs, you want to get rid of it. And I don't blame you. I don't blame you that you want to get rid of this, but you have to do the right stuff, right? I mean, it's not just going to disappear on its own. You have to put the effort into it. So what are you doing that's going to burn the fat that you have? Not what you're eating, not little surface stuff that your body is just going to replenish quickly. Because remember, we talked about, I used the reference point, that your fat is your stored energy. It's your bank account. And you need to spend what you have in your bank account. You need to get rid of what you have in your bank account. You need to eject that. You need to get rid of it. Okay, you need to spend what you have extra on your body. So how are we going to do that? First off, you need to create a deficit. I'm not talking a caloric deficit. We're not talking about that. I'm talking about a deficit for your body to replenish. Fat is stored energy. You need to create a deficit that your body has to replenish. You need to create a deficit where your body has to refuel. You need to get your body to need to tap into excess stores on your body. You need to have your body fix itself. Now, what does that mean? When you exercise, you break down your body, you injure yourself, and your body has to repair. You need to force your body to refuel itself, its living, breathing tissue. So how do you do that? You do that by lifting weights. That's why you always talk about lifting weights. But how? Papa Swoleo fucking enormous. How can I burn fat if I don't lift as many weights, or if I don't want to lift as many weights? How can I burn fat faster? How can I burn fat with things like cardio if I'm at home or I don't have a weight room? How do I get more fat burning if I don't have access to a gym, if I don't lift as heavy as you, if I have injuries in some respects that I can't lift weights as much with my upper body or go as heavy with lower body exercise? How do I do this? Well, you can do it with what's known as interval training. Interval training is a method where you are going to trigger type 2 muscle fibers. You're going to work anaerobically, not aerobically like cardio, like steady state cardio. So walking long distances, running long distances. There's a reason why people spend hours on the treadmill and they don't work, because your body can adapt to that type of output very easily. It's low level output. Your body can adapt to that and neutralize that very quickly. What you need to do is create a deficit where your body needs to replenish energy and oxygen and nutrients and minerals and so forth in your body after the exercise, after the workout, and long throughout the rest of the day. Interval training is a way where your body can perform at a very high level, let's say 80, 90, 100% of your capacity, high intensity, it's like lifting heavy weights, and do so over a longer period of time. Now, if you know this, you cannot sprint for an hour. You can't. You have to slow down to a jog or a walk. But what you can do is sprint all out for 10, 15, 20 seconds. Now, in order to string a lot of those together to increase your capacity for what's known as EPOC, which is a technical term, EPOC, EPOC, it stands for excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. I'll repeat that one more time. EPOC, EPOC, excess post-exercise oxygen consumption. EPOC will put you into debt. EPOC is what your body does after you're done exercising. That's why weightlifting and doing strength training is so effective, because after you're done, that's when your body goes into repair mode. That's when your body goes into eat the fat off your stomach, off your thighs, off your arms mode. Not while you're working out, afterwards. That is why walking a long distance doesn't do it. That's why running long distances doesn't really do it effectively. Okay? If you want to get skinny and flabby, you could be a marathon runner. They don't have much muscle tone. They're just sticks. It's like those runway models. They're skinny, but they have no muscle mass. You want shape. You want to keep the muscle and you want to burn the fat. Well, how do you keep the muscle? How do you keep the muscle and shred up? How do you keep the muscle and burn the fat too? Interval training. For example, sprints. Sprints will get you into that anaerobic threshold where you are working at 80, 90, 100%. You're going all out for a short period of time, 10, 15, 20 seconds. You will interval that with periods of rest or walking or a light jog, just recovery for about 5 to 6 times the length of time that you put that high effort. So we call this a work to rest ratio. For example, if you are working really hard for 20 seconds, really hard, like 90, 95, 100% of your effort for 20 seconds, a work rest ratio of 1 to 6 would be you work for 20 seconds and you rest for 2 minutes. Okay? 20 seconds is the work, that's the 1, and the 6 is 6 times the 20, which would be 2 minutes. Okay? So you would work hard for 20 seconds and then rest for 2 minutes. Work hard for 20 seconds, rest for 2 minutes. Work hard for 20 seconds and rest for 2 minutes. That 2 minutes allows you to replenish a lot of your ATP and a lot of your creatine phosphate, and it helps you recover so you can perform at that high level again. If you tried to sprint for 2 minutes straight, it wouldn't work. You would tap into that glycolytic, more glycolytic, and start going to more of a slow glycolytic process. And this is just exercise physiology, exercise science. But what happens is if you start exercising, the duration of your activity increases, your intensity decreases. You start burning less calories, your body becomes more efficient at doing such. You go more aerobic, and you become less effective at burning quantities of fat. You start burning a higher percentage of fat when you go aerobic. That's where they correlate. You burn a lot. The percentage, the amount of calories that you burn from fat is very, very high, but the quantity of calories that you burn from fat is low. And your body adapts to that very quickly. That's why steady state stuff sucks. That's why steady state stuff does not work as effectively. So what you need is to get into that anaerobic threshold. You need to work at a high level, and you need to make it short, and you need to interval that with periods of rest. And that way, if you do, let's say you do 10 cycles of that, 20 seconds and then 2 minutes rest, 20 seconds, 2 minutes rest, 20 seconds, 2 minutes rest, 20 seconds, 2 minutes rest. You do 5, 10 cycles of that, 10 cycles of that, and then all of a sudden you get together a bunch of 20-second blocks overall over the course of your workout that you might work at that high capacity for maybe a total of 3, 4, 5 minutes. Whereas if you were to work straight for 5 minutes, you couldn't maintain that intensity. You'd have to slow it down and tap more into that aerobic region of your metabolism. Do you understand where I'm got it so far? It's very important that you work at a high level, that you work at a high intensity. It's very, very important. If you want to shred fat, you need to work anaerobically. You need to put your body into that deficit. And I will tell you, and if you've ever done sprints before, I want you to think about this. If you go on a treadmill, you go on an elliptical, you go on a Stairmaster, and you go for 30 minutes, steady state. You might be sweaty, you might be exhausted, but you get off that and you wipe off, you won't be out of breath, you'll feel fine, okay? Especially when you get used to it. You do sprints, 20 seconds on, and then 2 minutes or a minute and a half off. You can increase this or decrease this ratio. Instead of resting 2 minutes, you can do 20 seconds on and then a minute 30 off, or then a minute off, and that's like a 1-4 or 1-3 ratio. That's much more challenging. That's much more intense, but also gets more towards aerobic and towards cardio. So you don't want to go too low. You don't want to do a 1-1 or 1-2. You want to be careful because that's very intense. That's very challenging for the body. Only when you're advanced and only for short periods of time, like when you're doing a 1-rep max. You wouldn't do that all the time. So you got to be careful with the really low ratios, but a 1-4, 1-5, 1-6 is very effective for tapping into that. After you do that, let's say you do this 1-6 work rest ratio with sprints or hill running, and you do that for 20 minutes or half an hour. Cycles. So over the course of half an hour, you might get 6-7 cycles and whatever the math is. Think about how exhausted you're going to be. You're going to be so fucking wiped out, and that's because your body is doing more work. Your body is doing more work. It's spending a longer period of time at a higher level of output. After your workout, an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours after, your body is going to be repairing and resaturating muscle tissue, resaturating the body with oxygen. It's going to need to do more work to repair. And when you are post-exercise, when you're in this window after you do this type of training, your body's metabolism is much faster, much higher. And because you're at rest after your workout, because you're at rest and you're at a low level intensity when you're sitting on the couch, the percentage of calories from fat that you're burning is much higher. So the reason why when you lift weights and when you do interval styles of cardio like sprinting, which is not really cardio, it's interval anaerobic training. When you do training like that, the reason why you get so lean and you maintain muscle mass is 1, you are training type 2 muscle fibers, which can do fast output, higher intensity activity for a shorter duration. And that's where most of the bulk of your muscle fiber is coming from, so you maintain your muscle size and your density. Also, what you're doing is you are creating a situation in which when you're at rest throughout the entire other times when you're not working out, when you're in the shower, when you're taking a shit, when you're eating food, when you're watching TV, when you're sleeping, because at a low intensity, which that's considered low intensity, you're not doing anything, you burn the highest percentage of fat from the calories that you're burning. You're not burning a lot of calories, but you are burning a high percentage of fat because you're at rest. When you do interval training, when you do resistance training with weights, you are burning more calories at rest because your body is repairing, as well as burning a high percentage of fat. So you're not only increasing your metabolism, you're increasing your body's need to repair, but you're also increasing the amount, the quantity, and you're keeping that percentage of fat burning highest. That is why when you look at the Olympics, look at their body types. This is why marathon runners look skinny, but they're soft, and why sprinters look muscular and absolutely fucking shredded. Because they do explosive activity, they do interval style training, they do short periods of all out full output. You see those 100-meter sprinters, they look a lot more ripped and jacked than those 800-meter or those 5,000 or 10,000. Big difference between those long distance runners and the sprinter type physiques. Anyone that does explosive activity like that is going to be a lot leaner and maintain a lot more muscle mass because that's the style of training they do. Remember, your body is going to adapt to the style of training you do. So if you want to maintain muscle and you want to shed fat, you need to lift weights, do your fucking yoga so you stay healthy and you stay limber and you work everything evenly and you work all those underactive muscles and you stretch the ones that are always tight from society. And you also, if you're going to do any type of running or any type of biking, do it in interval fashion. I cannot tell you enough. Do it in interval if you love to run, if you love to swim, if you love to bike, do it. But try to do it where you're doing interval style training. That way you can maintain your muscle mass and absolutely get fucking ripped. Thank you so much for joining me for episode 260 of The Daily Mother Swole, the most muscular podcast in the fucking realm. If you are just joining me for the first time, thank you so much. Remember, you can catch every single episode on SoundCloud and iTunes. You can watch every episode on YouTube and, of course, live on Facebook every day at 12 noon Eastern time. You could watch the fucking Gain Train crush these knowledge bombs. So this is a great episode. Thank you so much for joining me. I'm here every day at 12 noon Eastern time. Remember to hit the live notification button so you get alerted when I go live. And those of you that are also new to joining me, remember, we do live Q&As. I do some random live Q&As when I'm warming up at the gym. So make sure you get those notifications on, because not only am I here every day at 12 noon Eastern time, I also do random Q&As. So those of you that are on top of things and got those notifications on will get their questions answered. And those of you that have been there before, you know that I get to as many as I possibly can. And thank you so much for those of you that are joining me for my private membership accountability group, Swolenormous Premium. If you're interested in joining my accountability group, you can click the sign up button on my Facebook page right here, or you can go to swolenormous.com to sign up. It is only $4.99 a month for private accountability meetings. We go daily live broadcasts after the Daily Swole, so you can apply what you learn here. We do a lot of program design, nutritional guidance, corrective exercise, all sorts of stuff. It's a great family, great community. So if you need help and you need to stay on point and you always fall off the wagon, don't fall off this year. It's 2017. It's still new. It's still fresh. You can still save yourself from fucking up again. Don't fuck up anymore. Don't stop. Don't quit. Keep going. You can do it. And of course, I'll see everyone tomorrow again at 12 noon Eastern time for 261. Peace. I'll catch you on Instagram. Catch you on the Snap. Later.